Purpose, pleasure, and passion. We started out with those the other day. God, the feedback is phenomenal. Because you need purpose, pleasure, and passion. I'm discovering how deep this goes with having private calls from Dream Driven Day members. And on these private calls, I'm discovering that if there is any imbalance here, purpose, pleasure, and passion, you need all three of these, or else you start getting stuck on problems. And that's what we're going to dive into a little tiny bit today. Let's call it conflict. People, they've got conflicting desires, they've got conflicting opinions, they've got conflicting thoughts, they've got conflicting family members. Conflict inflicts hells. How much hell do you want to inflict on the world? Let's just be blunt. How much of your day is based on imaginary conflict? Neville Goddard talks about imaginary conversations. He talks about congratulatory conversations. He talks about inner conversations. And how often do you settle for inner argument? I got an email today. Day 3, ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. I ask, hey, would you answer these 4 questions? I love when people do because it shows me that they're doers and it also sets a depth and direction for them in the course. We've had people do the course over 10 times, and they still send me, they have such a fabulous time, they keep doing it again and again. And every time they get to day 3, those who keep going keep sending me their answers, and I look at them. Sometimes I even compare it from the last time, and I notice how they've shifted. Pleasure, purpose, passion. You will not have room for these in your life as long as you are problem-oriented. You will be problem-oriented as long as you entertain guests at your dinner table that are not honorable and dignified. For those of you who want to get into the 12 disciples, let me know. The first disciple, Simon Peter, is all about admitting only the honorable and the dignified. If you're admitting anything other than that to your dinner table, shame on you. Shame on you. You see, God has a little bit of attitude of Abdullah. Maybe you notice we made a pact about that. There are reasons why we make these pacts. It's called you. Send us your emails. And as best as I can, sometimes I can't make a 7-line email or a 7-word sentence do what you need it to do. Sometimes it takes an hour or 2 in a program. Sometimes it takes a 90-day program. Corresponding with a young lady right now about anxiety. I'm trying to imagine something different. What you need to do is imagine something differently. And what you imagine differently is about the I don't know in your life. For addicts, which is most of the population, for people that live in a state of passive response, which means anxiety or depression, I don't know is the enemy. I don't know is not the enemy. I don't know is the playground. We dive into that in the Anxiety Eliminator. You can get all of these, by the way, at NevilleGoddardStore.com. But this requires some attitude, purpose, pleasure, passion. Can you hear all 3 of those in my voice? They're in my voice because they're in my life. I don't ever try to change what I say on the inside. You can't talk yourself into changing states. What you can do is have what we call a res gestae, a spontaneous utterance, because you celebrate the shifts. When you celebrate noticing that you were in a shit state, you immediately shift because you move into a state of celebration. On the other hand, if you're in a shit state and you decide to beat yourself up about it, or go, oh, this doesn't work, now you're having inner shit conversations that just keep you stuck. And the key is not to change the conversation, the key is to change you. If you got gold today, I tossed out a bunch of goodies. And remember, sometimes a 7-word comment or a 7-sentence email can't do what a 1-hour or 2-hour pack can do, or a 90-day program. For those of you with anxiety, the Anxiety Eliminator. We're not treating a disease here, we're exploring you. Because when you stop exploring and noticing you, the I don't know zone becomes the enemy. There's plenty of I don't know in life. Plenty of it. If anything, most of life gets to be I don't know. And I don't know will not be the enemy once you no longer are concerned about it, but when you're curious. You can get the Anxiety Eliminator and the Attitude of Abdullah and the other goodies at NevilleGoddardStore.com. And now, let us go into the silence. Dive deeper, soar higher. Ooh. Dive deeper. Love you. See ya.